Still fits.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 things to remember before seeing Black Widow.
My plan was to drive us away.
Well, your plan sucks.
My girls are the toughest girls in the world. We're a family. We fight with you.
For this list, we're recapping the essentials you need to know to prepare you for Natasha Romanoff's solo MCU film. What details do you think people should know before seeing Black Widow in theaters? Are there any we missed? Let us know in the comments below. Number 10. It's set after Civil War. Let's recap where we are in the MCU timeline when this film releases. Natasha has mentioned going back to Russia a couple of times, but this one hasn't been mentioned.
I heard you had to leave in a hurry.
It's never easy these days.
It takes place before the start of Infinity War, but after Civil War. Once Black Widow lets Steve and Bucky go during the battle at the airport, Stark warns her at the hospital that Thaddeus Ross is going to come after her, making her go on the run.
They're coming for you.
I'm not the one that needs to watch their back.
This means that it takes place in the 2 years between her linking up again with Captain America's crew. She could be seeking shelter while on the run, or with some free time, she could also be seeking to uncover her past.
We have unfinished business.
Number 9. Natasha Is Dead. Going back into the past isn't gonna fix this one. It's important to remember that Natasha's fate is already set in stone, meaning that even though this may be one of the last films that Scarlett Johansson stars in, the character will live to see this film's end credits.
I've lived a lot of lives.
It also means that if this movie sets up anything for Phase 5, Natasha will not be a part of it. This is all because of the events of Endgame, where she sacrifices herself so that Hawkeye can get the Soul Stone and save everyone.
It's okay.
While we can expect there to be plenty of satisfying action, a little sadness looms over Natasha's first and probably last solo movie. Number 8. New characters. One of the most highly anticipated parts of this movie's release is the reveal of new characters that will be added to the Marvel roster.
It's good to see you too, sis. What brings you home?
We of course have Red Guardian, Yelena Belova, Rick Mason, and Melina Vostokov, aka Iron Maiden, who all seem to be on Team Black Widow and are connected to her past. But of course, we also have Taskmaster making his highly anticipated MCU debut, whose ability is to copy anyone's fighting style simply from seeing it in action. It's safe to say that we have an exciting lineup to look forward to.
One thing's for sure. It's gonna be a hell of a reunion.
Number 7. Hawkeye Recruited Her to S.H.I.E.L.D. Whenever we find out that Tony Stark's new assistant is actually a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, stories are drip-fed to us about her past.
Before I worked for S.H.I.E.L.D., I made a name for myself.
One of the most interesting ones explains why Hawkeye and Black Widow have such a close relationship. She explains to Loki in Avengers that she had gained quite the reputation while working for the KGB, and Clint was sent to kill her. Instead, he chose to recruit her, giving her a new purpose and new family, and helping her become the first female Avenger.
Agent Barton was sent to kill me. He made a different call.
Because this link is so important to the character, we think it's safe to say there will be some mention of it once the film releases.
I made my choice.
Number 6. Returning characters. With this being an MCU movie, we can expect a couple of familiar faces to pop up. Of course, Natasha will be in the starring role, but another character that will be featured is Thaddeus Ross.
So what are you going to do?
As this is just after Civil War, Natasha sided with Captain America towards the end, making her an enemy of the state. Thaddeus is most likely hunting Natasha, but it can't be the only reason he's there. Some fans have speculated that he's looking for Taskmaster or Yelena to join an elite superhero team called the Thunderbolts. It's rumored that Hawkeye, Nick Fury, and even Tony Stark will make appearances. But whether they do or it's just passing mentions, we'll have to wait and see.
What am I even tripping for? Everything's gonna work out exactly the way it's supposed to.
Number 5. Budapest. Throughout the entire MCU, both Clint Barton and Natasha have mentioned Budapest as a similar encounter to the many they face alongside the Avengers.
Just like Budapest all over again.
You and I remember Budapest very differently.
Fans have deliberated for a long time what exactly this refers to, and we might not have to wait long for an answer. A shot of Budapest is seen in the trailers for Black Widow, meaning we might be visiting the capital of Hungary. Whether or not this is a flashback to an encounter the duo had together, or Natasha returning there for some unfinished business, we're all eager to find out.
A long way from Budapest.
Number 4. The Red Room. The reason why Natasha is going back to Russia is to go back to where it all started. And for anyone who's been paying attention to the small hints about Black Widow's past, you would know this means the Red Room.
He controls the Red Room. They're manipulated. Fully conscious, but no choices.
As referenced in the trailers, the Red Room is a Russian brainwashing and elite training program where they kidnap little girls and turn them into assassins. There are some details that have been revealed, but even Romanoff struggles to remember her time there, likely due to mental conditioning.
We have to go back to where it all started.
Whatever she ends up finding, we're likely to learn the details of what really happened during her years under Madame B.
What if I fail? You'll never fail.
Number 3. Her parents. This part is a little confusing but important to know. So, the Red Room was mostly known for taking in orphan girls, but other characters have mentioned her as the daughter of named characters in the MCU.
Can you wipe out that much red? Dreykov's daughter?
Loki named her Dreykov's daughter in Avengers, and Red Skull named her as the daughter of Ivan.
Natasha, daughter of Ivan.
However, these fathers may not actually be related, as the first name was the Red Room Overseer, and the latter, fans think, is Ivan Petrovich Bezhukov, who is her foster father in the comics. She also mentions to Steve that she found her biological parents' graves in Russia.
2 little gravestones by a chain link fence.
So, what this means is that any mention of family in Black Widow probably won't be by blood.
Family. Back together again.
Number 2. Natasha's Past recap.
Before I was an Avenger, I made mistakes.
Since this film is Natasha's first solo feature, it's good to make sure that we're all up to speed on how exactly she got to this point. As we know, Natasha was orphaned, recruited into the Black Widow program, worked for the KGB, then for S.H.I.E.L.D., then the Avengers, and onwards.
Give him hell.
But most of her time before her appearance in Iron Man 2 is left a mystery beyond casual references. So it's likely we'll get a more in-depth look at Black Widow's past when we dive into this film.
I've lived a lot of lives, but I'm done running from my past.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. She's not the only Black Widow. For the longest time, the MCU has mostly avoided Natasha's origins. But for anyone who's familiar with the comics, you'll know that she's not the only Black Widow. Kevin Feige has confirmed that he's interested in Florence Pugh staying in the MCU.
So we're gonna talk like grown-ups?
Is that what we are?
Her character, Yelena Belova, is also called Black Widow in the comics. This all points to the fact that this film likely sets up the next person to take up the Black Widow mantle.
Who you are.
And since we're going to likely be seeing the Red Room, we will no doubt be encountering a lot more people who've gone through the same training program.
How many others are there?
Enough.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.